Planetary Coven, and you are invited to learn Logic Pro X with me. This week, we're going to be diving into how I craft a witchy vibe backing track for a cover song. I really love working on cover songs because they're a way to build skills, they're a way to grow your artistry, and really craft that musical tastemaker so that you can apply that knowledge to your original material or projects that you're hired to do for someone else or even in collaboration. This week I'm working on Dance on the Moon by Aurora. I have a Patreon with Planetary Coven, and each month I release a full moon music jam, which is a virtual concert download video. I thought it would be fun to dive in and peel back the curtain for how I craft these cover songs. So let's dive in and see how Planetary Coven creates a witchy vibe backing track for a cover song. I opened up a template that I have already saved in Logic that has some witchy vibe sounds. I love referring to templates in general because they're a really great way to expedite your creative process. This way, I know that I'm going to have at least a couple of sounds in there to lay down a bass line for my backing track. And by baseline, yes, a literal baseline, but really lay down a foundation for my backing track, which then I can go back in and weave in other sound colors later down the line. But in the beginning, I just want to have something that I can dive in and start to creatively play around with this music. Now, before I tuned in with you all, I did copy and paste the lyrics for Dance on the Moon. I copied and pasted the lyrics for Dance on the Moon. Just so you know, that function, if you look at the top right here, it's the second in from the left. If you click that, you can double click and then do your lyrics. So I just looked these up online, copied and pasted, and then added in some guiding words. Actually, speaking of which, I forgot to do that last chorus. Okay, and I already have my markers lined up as well. Even though I know kind of my song structure going in based on my lyrics, I might change a few things based on my artistic interpretation. But I still want to start with my 8-bar loop strategy because that is my favorite way and one of the easiest ways to get your sound palette crafted, to get that foundation for your song so you're not, again, spending all of this time living in sound picking land and spending more time in creative land, which, don't get me wrong, I love to spend time in sound picking land. That's a lot of fun to just go into that sound library and do your thing. But for today, let's just stick with what we've got. So we're starting with, I know there's going to be an intro. It's probably going to be 4 bars. So I'm going to just sort of make these first couple of bars here as layered as possible. And then I'll take stuff out later for the verse and chorus and weave them back in for instrumentals as need be. Today, we're just going to be worried about the actual backing track. And when I say backing track, I mean there's not going to be vocals on this for now. I'm eventually going to lay down vocals for this, but today we're just going to be worried about that backing track. If you would like to hear a video about how I record vocals, I would be happy to do that for you. Leave me a comment and I will put that on my content creation schedule for y'all. Okay, let's dive in. So I have my MIDI keyboard set up already, but let me Command K to get my musical typing up so we can all be on the same visual page. Let's start with our classic electric piano, which I know is going to change probably, but let's try it for now. Oh, it might also be helpful if I set my BPM and tempo for this. So let me hear let me move my face. Let me hear my BPM for this. Oh, that's way too slow. That's a little too fast. A touch to come undone. Yeah, I like that tempo. That's a great way to test out your tempo. Just hum a little bit of it softly. We're not recording. It's just for decision-making purposes. And I believe this song is in A minor. Yes. This voice is... All right, so I'm going to change that in there. And the reason that I want to figure that out on the front end, by the way, if you don't want to spend time doing that by ear, I highly recommend just doing a quick Google, what key is this song in, whatever cover song you're doing. Or you can go on something like Ultimate Guitar Tabs or one of those types of sites, guitar tab sites, and search the song that way. And that will actually give you the chords that you need for the song, which then you can input into Logic. You can also transpose it in some of these sites as well. The beauty of a cover song is that you can make it your own. So if a song is not in your ideal range, transpose it. And you don't have to do that yourself. You can go on these websites and have them do it for you, or put it into Logic as is and transpose it within Logic. It's up to you. Our chords for this song are going to be A minor, F major, C major, and G major. You can see those listed up top here where you have your BPM, your keys, all that stuff. If you play a chord, it'll tell you what chord that is. If I added an extra note, I changed our chord there and it will let you know. So, fun fact. Now let's just record that progression because we're going to be using that in different layers. So I'm going to record that once and repurpose it in different sounds. But that's going to be our core chord progression for this cover song. Here we go. Oops, actually, let me get my musical typing back for y'all so you can see it. Here we go. All right, now let's go in and clean this up a little bit before we start copying and pasting it. We're going to Command A to quantize. Now we're going to right click and we're going to trim note N to selected, force legato. We're going to keep our chords, and now we've just extended these like we're doing the soft pedal. Not the soft pedal, the sustain pedal. Let me just sneak these out real quick. Okay, now we're going to copy and paste this to make our 8-bar loop. Let's listen back to that. Okay, sounding good so far. Now let me refresh my brain on what Gas Giant sounds like. So because this has an effect on it, I'm just going to sustain some A's. I'm just going to pick one A so that it's not too busy. Here we go. I love that sound so much. Gas Giants, it's one of my favorites. It sounds like there's a dinosaur that comes in or something, and I do love a dinosaur. All right. Land Before Time, anyone? Any other fans? Okay, Artificial Brain. Oh, I'm going to use this as a bass line. So I have, just as a reminder, we have our chords up here. We have our A major. We have our F major, which is just inverted. Typically that F will be down here, but we just scooched it on up for that inversion. Then we have our C major, which is another inversion. We just did that G and popped it down here. And then we went back to our F major. Now I'm going to use the bass line for this, the root of this chord progression, to create, I'm going to use the roots of that chord progression to create my bass line, which would then be I'm not going to do the inversions. I'm just going to go A, F, C, G. Now let's record that. I'm going to solo it so you can hear that clearly. All right, now let's clean it up a bit. So I'm going into my piano roll, Command A to select all, Q to quantize. Don't they look gorge? Now we're going to copy and paste, and we've transformed our 4 bars into our 8-bar loop. Let's hear how that sounds together. I like it. Now let's listen to Backwards Dream. That might be, you know what? I'm going to go in and change this one. I don't know. That's a little too squeaky for this. Ooh, Banshee. Let's hear what that is. Ooh, I like that. What is gnashing of teeth? Ooh, a ghost piano? I like gnashing of teeth. And I'm still staying on that A, so we have that root. Here we go. It's feeling witchier by the track. Now, let's do a little copy and paste for our crypt bass. I want to listen to that to make sure that's what I want to hear. So we're going to solo it. Nope, that is not what I want to hear. So we're going to open up Alchemy and choose a different bass. Dark Night, let's try that. Now filter sweep. If something sweeps, let's do resonant. That might be a little safer. I like that. There's a little bit of twang in there, which is going to be a nice contrast to some of the sort of darker, echoey colors that are in our sound palette. Now, so this doesn't drive our brains crazy, let's do a right-click, name region by track, and then color region by track. And since we did that, even though it's copied and pasted, it's now going to match the track that we copied and pasted it to. Sometimes if you copy and paste stuff and you don't do that, it can confuse your brain down the line because you're looking at something and you're not hearing what it is that you're looking at. It doesn't match. So do your brain a favor. Whoops. Copy, and then we're going to paste that. See that up here as well. We forgot to do that earlier. Okay. We've done some pads. We've done our bass lines. We haven't really done our percussion. We haven't done our leads. Let's see what our ancient bass is going to sound like. Whoops, I need to go down. I'm going to press Z to go down in my octave so y'all can see that. Let's see. There's our kick. Okay, so there's our C1 there. I'm just playing around with a few little sounds here. I like that. All right, and we only need to do those 4 bars. So let's go down here, Command A to select all, Q to quantize. Now we're going to copy and paste. Let's unsolo and hear these all together. I'm digging it. Now our germ kit, I forgot, I was using that for a specific project. It's kind of a cool sound because it sounds like you're coughing.
Don't.
So that's, okay, so this is a good example of the Logic sounds that sound like voices. If singing isn't your jam, or if you want to enhance your own vocals with other vocal sounds, check out some of the vocal samples in here or the vocal instruments that are going to sound like somebody's actually saying things, but you're really just playing MIDI notes. So let's infuse some of these just for fun and to see how we can play around with some witchy sounds in our backing track. Here we go.
Don't. Don't.
See, it's like coughing. I'm into it. Let's try it. It's weird, but why not? We're doing witchy stuff. Let's make it a little bit weird. So that's why it's a cover song, right? We're making it our own. And the cool thing too is that Aurora, if you're not familiar with them as an artist, it's very like video game fantasy, if you will. Let's listen to that together and just see how it sounds. Again, this isn't mixed yet, so the balance is going to be a little bit off, but at least we can get the idea. Awesome. So let's do our moon bass. Let's do our tried and true copy and paste. Now we're gonna name regions, color regions, so it matches. Let's listen to that. Beautiful. Moving on to our ancient starship. Let me refresh my ears. Oh, I'm still down here. Let's do up an octave. Oh, actually, no, I do like down the octave. We're going to use that for some hits. Let's record that real quick. Oops. I need to do that last one. I love that eggplant color. Okay, Command A and Q. Now that's again, we're using that as a hit. So we're just building that sound palette. That's not necessarily going to go through the whole way, but at least we have something to play around with. Let's hear Alien Insect Infestation. How fun. Yep, we're going to keep that in there for some color. Let's try. It is not an accident that the song is called Dance on the Moon, and we're using a lot of spacey sounds. That is a great way to infuse witchiness, whatever vibes you want to infuse into your music, think about the subject of the song, the essence of the song that you're covering, and then go into your sound library or into Alchemy and search some keywords. See if there's anything that come up. For example, star is one that I used when I built this template. Alien is another one that I used when I built this template. Moon is another one. And look, we have 3 instruments that came up just from typing in some of those keywords. So keep that in mind as you're trying to create these sound palettes. There are ways that we can infuse some extra meaning and extra essence into our cover simply by being a little bit intentional with the types of sounds that we're choosing. Let's copy and paste that. And in building this, I was already hearing that I need like a treble lead, something high, because there's a lot of deeper ambiance, which I like for this, especially because the vocals I'm anticipating being a little bit lighter anyway. But I do also want to have some instrumental tonal color to play around with, like a hook or a melody or something that I can feed back in those moments that I'm not singing and we want a little bit of tonal interest happening there. So let's do a new software instrument track. Oh, that is quite a bold color choice, but I'll allow it for now. I like burnt orange. Okay, let's go into Alchemy. And we'll go into leads. Ooh, Airy Synth Lead is one that tends to be a friend of mine. So but we don't want it to be brassy. Let's hear some strings. Oh, right, it's not soloed. It's a little too whiny. Anthemic lead? No, absolutely not. Oh my gosh, that was no. No, oh! I have a very strong reaction to certain sounds. Ooh, haunted house. Let's see what that is. I'm kind of into that. So what I did there is I just broke down that A minor chord that we played around with earlier, that A, C, E, and I just broke it up into individual notes. So that's a way that you can create a lead pattern without reinventing the wheel. Whoops. Let's clip this in half for easier use later. Let's hear how that sounds together. Is a little bit off, but again, we have not mixed yet. I want to do one more of those high leads. You don't have to use a lead, by the way. You can use keys, organs, strings, synths, whatever you want. And then remember, we can break those down by subcategory, genre, and timbre, depending on what you want. I just like to have all of the options and scroll through until something grabs my interest, like this gaseous lead just did. Because we do have gas giants up here. That's another way you can build your sounds. Put in that keyword gas into that search and see what comes up. Let's do that now, actually. We're going to go back to all just to put our options open and put in gas. Already, look at those. All of these came up. And even if it's not in the initial one, that probably means it's somewhere in the pads. Yeah, see, escaping gas. And same here, laser sword, hot gases. So even if it's not in the initial name, it'll be somewhere within that synth. Let's go back to our gaseous lead. What does this sound like? Oh, that's very bright. I mean, it did warn me that it was bright. Oh, dry clav. I love a clav. Let's see if this is down an octave. Oh, I like that. Let's see if you can see this. So you can't get it fully, but I am playing A, C, A, C. Here we go. Sweet. Let's quantize. Command A, Q. Now let's do it 5. We're going to Command T to split that track. And we're good to go. All right. I am going to consider this is our foundation of sound. As I arrange this out, I might want to put in some effects, some hits, or something like that. I'm going to be adding and subtracting to really sculpt this out, but here is going to be my home base. Now, I got this tip from Sabrina Seidman, to when we're doing that 8-bar loop, to Command C and copy and paste it somewhere later in your track, just so you're going to have all of this information here, because we're about to do a bunch of copying and pasting, and it's just a nice idea to have somewhere in your project a place where all of those live, where you can easily go back in and copy and paste. Now, just remember when you're exporting your track or you're finishing it out, make sure that you've deleted those extra ones so they're not included. And also, if this song is longer than you anticipated, make sure to scoot those down if need be. Here's a way to do that. You can select, I just held down my mouse click and dragged it to select all of these. Then I moved my cursor to 101, and then I clicked the semicolon, and it moves all of those down to where my marker is there. So fun fact. Let's go back in. I don't know why I just dragged that down. And now we're going to arrange this out. So we're going to take away our loop. We already have our markers set up in 4-bar chunks, which is just going to make our lives easier. Now we're going to go in and start to arrange this out. I recommend you do assign track color and color code your markers. So I just right-clicked on a track to bring up the assign track colors, and now I can double-click this, do intro, change the name of it, and then color code that to red. I'm going to do a sensible Roy G bit. Red for the intro, orange for the verses, yellow for the chorus, green for instrumentals, blue for the outro, or blue for bridge, indigo or violet for outro, depending. So I'm going to do just a 4-bar intro, I believe. So I'm going to put that to orange, these first 2 markers. This is kind of a long verse. This voice is a calling, coming down. Yeah, this is a double verse. So we're going to, for now, again, we can always go back and change these, but for now, this is how we're going to set this up. Because we have a double verse before the chorus. So I'm just going to verse, 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 verse. Whoops. And then we have chorus, chorus. All right. For our intro, I'm going to want all of these. I like in the moments that we don't have vocals, we can really play with our sound palettes and just throw all of that stuff at the wall. I'm going to take out, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drag all of these. I'm going to copy. I'm going to paste these over the next couple of bars. And then I can go back in and delete. I'm going to delete, I already know I'm going to want the germ kit out of there. That's going to be a special touch. Probably burst of light as well and gaseous lead. I'm not going to want all of those same pads in there either, because we want the vocals to shine. All right, let's see what that sounds like. Take out the gas giants too. I do love a dinosaur, but we want to have ebbs and flows, peaks and valleys. So we want to be able to bring it back in the verses a little bit. So we have a powerful intro, some nice punch with that. We bring it back in for the verses, and then we allow it to expand in the choruses. Then we contract it again for those verses. Ebb and flow, expand, contract, however you want to think about it. We're just we're carving out a path for our ears on this song journey. Let's hear that transition from the intro into the verse. When I copy and pasted, I might have done something. Oh, that's why. This is from another project. There was swing on. I was like, something sounds a little bit off. Come on there. I'm gonna cue it. Okay, let's try that. Yay! Okay. I hope you don't mind me lightly humming to make sure that it fit with the vocals. All right, now come on. Can we even discuss this? Oops. Don't mind me. I don't know what happened here. We're just going to fixie this real quick. This is why we always double check after we quantize, because you never know. Okay. Yeah, see, the same thing happened here. I don't understand. Okay. So once we get to the chorus, we're going to want to have... Oh my goodness, same thing happened with Banshee. My goodness. let's bring that back into the chorus. So with the chorus, I'm going to want to have things get a little bit busier. And as you can see, I left the gas giants in for the second verse there. So we're adding a little bit of texture with each new section, with each new chunk. So we have our intro, we have our first part of the verse, we have our second part of the verse, and then we have our chorus. And the chorus is where we're going to be putting some of these things back in. I'm going to already turn this down because I was a little bit loud. Okay, let's take that back from the top and listen to that so far and see how that's shaping out. Ancient starship. Don't mind me. I'm just fixing some of these. Okay. Let's keep going. I did not mean to have these in there. I'm gonna move these over because what happens, as we can see right after the chorus, we have this there's a little refrain there. So I'm going to, this is an example of, even though there are some vocals in there, I would consider this to be kind of like an instrumental or transition. So I would be okay adding in more sounds for this. Let's do track color. What did I say? I said G for that. So let's do G for the refrain. Oh, I like this green better. Yes, it's a little bit easier to read. Okay, so then we have our... Oops, these are not where they need to be. We're just going to quantize this. Okay. How do we want to... So for this, I'm going to add in the burst of light and gaseous lead for the refrain and take out Banshee. So you see this is just like almost like a Tetris type of a deal. All right, let's take this from the top and listen to that so far. that. We're just going to go through one by one. There we go. Is that like that for all of them? No, just that. Okay, so for that. Oh, that's fine. This is why we always double check, just in case. Copying and pasting is fun, but sometimes it can get a little tricky. But it's good that we figured this out now and not when it was like way into the process. Whoops. Okay, let's do the same thing here. Oops. And I'll go back through and double check all of these later. I won't waste all of your time for that. I'm gonna have to do that, but just so we have something, whoops, easy breezy. Okay, now that we have our refrain, we have the bulk of our song already. We have our intro, we have our verses, we have our chorus and refrain. For the most part, that is what we have in this song, except for the bridge and the outro. And that's just, so let's do that right quick. I'm going to we're just going to select all of these. I'm sure there's a faster way to do this. Pretend that I've just magically... All right, they're all magically selected. Command copy. Now we're going to paste them here. Go through, and we're going to set our markers. Verse. 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 Chorus. Whoops. Oh, because I did not cut those. I just right-click to do that because I have my settings set up that way. We're going to select these and click orange, yellow, chorus, yellow, whoops, refrain, green, refrain, green. Okay, we have our, ooh, that's actually going to be our bridge. Now in this, but it's okay because we have our same sort of basic formula. I'm going to change that to blue. Bridge. Now in the bridge, I already know I'm going to want to take out some of the I want the bridge to be very ethereal, which means it's going to be super synthy, and I'm going to take out the percussion. Also going to try taking out the classical electric piano, which, surprise, we ended up keeping. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I want to keep, I think I want to put an arpeggiator in there. Although, let me see. Will one of these work? Let's see. Command K. Why isn't that showing up for y'all? There it is. Okay. Let's record that. I sustain that for the full 8 bars because I know it's going to be 8 bars. Let's see what it does with gaseous lead. I don't like that. I want something arpeggiated, so I'm going to do a new software instrument track. Go into alchemy. Arpeggiated. Now this is going to be something rhythmic. I want something that's going to hold the pulse but be kind of creepy. Aquatic Ghost, that sounds creepy. I like that. Let's see what... I don't know how I feel about that. Nope. Tinkly? No. Actually, let's search time. I weirdly dig that. Let's try it. Now I want to do a little bit of a transition because I know I'm going to be going to the chorus next. So let me see in my loops if I can do a time or a clock. Maybe a clock. I want to put that in as a sample. So we're going to splicey this. I just want it for... Actually, maybe and then I want to put a fade on it. Whoops. My fade wasn't on. Fade tool. Let's hear what that sounds like. Let's see. Let's see what would happen. just want it to be for a little bit. I think that might work. All right, I'm going to go back in and edit that later. In the interest of time, haha, I feel time. Let's go back in and copy and paste. All right. Then we have assign track color. It's going to be yellow for chorus. Chorus, okay. Oops. All right. So we're going to double that chorus at the end. And then we have our outro. And that's going to be our purple. Whoops. What I'm probably going to do is just copy and paste from the intro. And then take it from there. Maybe add in these at the end. I'm going to do the same thing with Gas Giants and Banshee. All right, and with y'all, okay, now we have our full song outside of vocals. Starting from that 8-bar loop, we have arranged a full cover song that includes the chorus, outro, and that bridge. We infused our witchy vibes by starting with a sound palette that had some witchy sounds saved in there, and then building upon that through searching for keywords and identifying what of our 4 main components of a backing track, leads, pads, bass line, and rhythm, percussion, that we were missing. And then we filled those in. We then sculpted them out by adding and subtracting into the different sections of the song based on how we wanted to expand or contract the vibe of that particular section. So you can see here, we have our beginning foundation, that 8-bar loop, and then we've just sort of spliced and copied and pasted and added in a few found sounds here or there to really round it out. And there you have it, our Dance on the Moon by Aurora cover song backing track. I hope this gave you some guidance on how you can create your own backing track for a cover song that has witchy vibes to it. You can apply these techniques to really any song. And if you don't like witchy vibes, try it for your own vibes. Search those keywords. See what you can find that really captures the essence of what you're trying to create. And the more you do this with a cover song, the easier it will be to replicate these types of sound palettes within your own original material. So I really encourage you to take the time to practice your music production, your artistry, and all of these fun sound palettes with a cover song. I appreciate you sharing your time with me, and I hope that you have a lot of fun creating. I'm excited to see what kinds of beautiful, witchy cover songs we can bring into the world. Wishing you a fruitful week of music magic.